Hello everyone, welcome to Arka Science, and today in this video I will be talking about the retrogression of Mars back into the sign of Taurus. And as of now, Mars is in the initial degrees of the sign of Gemini, and very soon it will leave Gemini and it will re-enter the sign of Taurus on 13th of November 2022. This retrogression of Mars in the sign of Taurus will be till 13th of January 2023. So it will be quite a time period when this retrogression of Mars will be happening in the sign of Taurus. So wheresoever the sign Taurus lies in your horoscope, you will see the significance related to that house, or whichever house Mars rules in your horoscope. Significance related to those households will also become more prominent and crucial during this particular time. See, Mars rules over energies, so whenever it transits a particular sign or a particular house, it energizes the significance of those aspect of our life. It energizes the significance of that house, of that sign, okay, in a big way, in a big manner, and that is the reason it becomes a crucial part in our life. And most important part here is that Mars retrograde happens once in a 2 years. In that way also it becomes more prominent, okay. And now it is just planning to get into into the sign of Taurus on 13th of November 2022. So wheresoever the sign Taurus lies, you will see that energies related to that particular house will play an important role in upcoming months, okay. Now suppose if you are running through the dasa of any planet posited in the sign of Taurus in your horoscope, and now this retrogression of Mars is happening, in that case also you will feel the impact of this transit in a big manner. Or suppose if you are running through the Mahadasa of or Antardasa, Pratyantardasa of Mars or Venus, in that way also, in that case also you will feel this transit of Mars in a big manner, okay. It will be much more impactful for you. Now suppose if you have more Ashtakvarga points in the sign of Taurus and this transit of Mars is happening, or suppose if you have more Ashtakvarga points given by Mars in the sign of Taurus, in that case also this transit of Mars will be beneficial to you, okay. But definitely it will depend upon our dasa sequence, depending upon where the planets are posited in our horoscope, which yogas are there in our horoscope. In that way also the transit of any planet will have different kinds of flavors and magnitudes of results in our life. So anytime if you want a consultation from me, you can check the links in the description section. You can directly mail me through my email ID, okay. Or suppose if you want a yearly horoscope consultation for the year of 2023 for your birth chart, in that case also you can mail me and you will get the email ID in the description section. You can directly mail me for that, okay. You can also get connected with me with my Facebook or Instagram accounts for any kind of personalized consultations or something like that, okay. Another thing is that suppose if you are new to this channel, then please subscribe to the channel, click onto the notification bell icon so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. Now I will talk about all the 12 ascendant signs, and I will ask you that check it from your ascendant sign first to understand the physical manifestation of results which is happening in front of you, which you are actually getting to see in front of you. And then check it from your moon sign also, so that you can understand that how this Martian energy is impacting you emotionally, okay. In that way also it will give you much more better results. So come now, let us start with the Aries ascendant first. For the Aries ascendant, Mars rules your first house and 8th house, and it is retrograding in your second house. This is a very important time when you need to be very careful regarding your speech, because normally what happens, what we think, our thought process, it get expressed through our speech, okay. So now this Mars is retrograding in your second house. It is the first lord itself, and it is also the 8th house lord. So all of a sudden your thoughts may get aggressively expressed through your speech, and that can be a bit blunt at times, okay. You may feel that this is the time I need to talk about it, okay. You can be a bit more aggressive and you just say it, and it can be very rude to listen, okay. So it can lead to some kinds of fights, or it can lead to some kinds of difference of opinions, or people may feel a bit sad about what you say. Okay, in that way also you need to be very careful that your speech may hurt someone. Okay, so be very careful regarding that, because here Martian energy will just come forward through your speech and your conversation, more specifically because second house is the house of family members and family matters. Certain things regarding your family will be a point of concern for you, and that can lead to some kinds of disturbances, arguments or clashes or fights. Okay, so at times it can make you a bit irritated and angry also. So try to engage yourself in terms of some creative works, because Mars will look onto your 5th house also. Okay, so at times you may feel that whatever you are planning, that is not coming up or that is not showing up as you have planned. So that can also be a reason of your irritation and frustration. So this is a time when you need to be completely focused and concentrated regarding your planning, regarding your skill set, regarding your creative talents. Or suppose if you are associated with anything related to education or studies, then you need to be much more focused in your studies and education during this particular time. That will not only channelize your energy, but also it will use up your time, and it will take you away from all these unnecessary disputes and anger issues. Okay, one more thing, suppose if you are dealing with any elder of your family member during this particular time, try to have proper respect for that person, try to have a proper humbleness, I will say. That will give you much more better results, because at times you may feel that maybe you could have had said the things in a much more better manner, in a much more lighter mode. Okay, but by that time you have already said it, so you just control over it and it will give you much more better results. One more thing, second house also deals with our food eating habits, and it is looking onto your 5th house by its 4th aspect. 5th house also deals with our stomach. Okay, so try to have the food which is easily digestible. Don't go for very rich and spicy food. This is not that particular time, although you will like it, you will feel to have that rich and spicy food. The change in food habits can be seen, but I will guide you, I will say you that this is not a time to get into any kind of stomach elements. Okay, it is a time to take care regarding your health, take care regarding your food eating habits, and that will ultimately help you in proper health management. Okay, because this Mars is also your 8th lord, it will look onto your 8th house also. So this is also a time when you need to actually take care regarding your health. 8th house lord is transiting through your first house, through your second house, sorry. Mars is your 8th lord transiting through your second house. Mars happens to be your first house also. So it means due to your own will and wish, all of a sudden it can be uncertain, it can be unpredictable, some expenditures can be there. Or due to its retrograde motion, all of a sudden you may take some all of a sudden that unpredictable decisions related to your wealth management or investments. I will say this is not a correct time to take any decision regarding your wealth and investments all of a sudden, which is ultimately not necessary. Okay, because that can lead to some kinds of losses, that can lead to some kinds of expenditures also. Don't take any decision hastily, or means just you need to take it, don't take it. Okay, you can consult with your elders, you can consult with your family members, that will be a source of guide for you. Okay, and since Mars will be aspecting your 9th house also by its 8th aspect, some sudden travels can be there, but I will say that since it is the 8th lord aspecting the 9th house, so I will say that until and unless it is necessary, don't go for some long distance travels. Yes, religious pursuits, religious discourses can be done. Suppose if you are going for any kind of religious pursuits, that can be done, that can be taken. Otherwise I will say that don't go for that much travels, because your 8th house lord is aspecting the 8th house, so uncertainties can be there. Okay, so take care regarding that. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people, and now I will talk about the Taurus ascendant people. For the Taurus people, Mars will be retrograding in your first house, and Mars is your 12th lord and your 7th lord. So this is a important time when you need to especially take care regarding your health, because your 12th lord is retrograding over your first house. This is a very important time when you need to be very much focused regarding your health care, regarding your own time. Means you can take out some time for yourself, for isolation and solitude, and work on your own health, work on your own self, on your own decision makings. Don't make any hasty decisions during this particular time, because this Mars will make you energetic, but at the same time will also make you some impulsive, aggressive. So out of impulsion you take a decision that can go haywire. Why? Because Mars is also the 12th lord, don't forget that. Okay, so take your decisions wisely. This is a very important time. You can take out some time for yourself. This will not only help you to get some rest, but also allow you to channelize your energy in a proper manner. This is a wonderful time to take care regarding your health with respect to meditation, yoga, physical exercises. That will give you much more better results. You can channelize your energy in some this way, it will give you good results. Since Mars rules over your 7th house of business partnerships and 12th house of faraway lands, so suppose if you are associated with any kind of business or work related to people living in foreign lands or faraway lands, try to avoid it during this particular time. This is not a correct time to get into those kind of things. If not ultimately possible to avoid it, for the time being you can postpone it. Okay, because your 12th lord Mars is retrograding over your first house and looking onto your 7th house. Okay, although 7th house is ruled by Mars itself, but still I will say that this is not a good time for getting into any kind of business dealings or any kind of contracts with response to with relevance to specific relevance to foreign or faraway lands. Okay. Another thing is that Mars will be looking directly onto your 4th house. So this is a time to take care regarding your domestic happiness. This is also a good time for taking care regarding of health of your mother. Okay, take care regarding the health of your mother, take care regarding the domestic peace and happiness, your own mental security, because certain matters at your home will be a cause of anxiety for you. Certain matters where you may feel that these things are not getting solved, which is creating anxiety and stress within you, because Mars rules over Agni Tattva. Mars rules over fire element, and that Mars also the 12th lord transiting over your first house. So that can make you a bit more stress prone, okay, anxious. So just avoid the things which are actually creating those problems. Just try to avoid it as of now. Try to bring happiness at your home. Do something which brings the mental security in a much more better manner, because that will not only help you physically in front of you, but also help you in the subconscious mind, because 12th lord Mars. Okay, Mars will look onto your 7th house and 8th house also. So this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding your relationships, your business partnerships, your marriage, your married life. Your health of your spouse is very essential during this particular time. Not necessarily that suppose someone is not in a relationship, suppose someone is not in a married life, for them I will say that here 7th house deals with public image. Here 7th house deals with anyone you are dealing in your real life. Okay, so try to have a cordial relationship with other peoples. That will not only improve your public image, but also allow you to ignore the unnecessary anxiousness and that stress stuffs. Okay, don't get into any kind of unnecessary fights. This is very important. Since Mars rules over your 7th and 12th lord, that means faraway lands, foreign lands. Okay, try to avoid any kind of displacement or movements during this particular time. Try to avoid it, because Mars will be looking onto your 8th house also. Uncertainties, unpredictability, sudden ups and downs and events. Okay, so try to avoid any kind of displacement or movement during this particular time. Try to avoid any kind of travels during this particular time. Okay, and try to have a proper cordial relationship between you and your partner. That will give you much more better results. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus people. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in your 12th house. Mars happens to be your 11th lord. Mars happens to be your 6th lord. Now, since Mars, which rules over Agni Tattva, fiery element, is transiting in retrograde motion in your 12th house, this is a time when you need to really take out some time for your own self, for your own cause. Because at times you may feel that you are getting restless. At times you may feel that it is impacting your sleeping schedule. You may feel that you are working and you are getting overexhausted. So that can also lead to some laziness, lethargy. You may feel that I am not getting the energy, I am not getting that motivation to work. Okay. So one of the practical remedies that out of your own work and own work schedule and everything, take out some time for your own self, for your own solitude and isolation. That time is your own. You can do anything creative, you can do anything which you like. So that will not only rejuvenate you from inside but also strengthen you, because you will feel that from your subconscious, from within, you are strong, and now you can jump into the real world and get your work done in a much more better manner. Okay, because since it is transiting in the retrograde motion in the 12th house, at times you may also feel that your efforts are not getting recognized. You may feel that I am putting my efforts, I am putting my actions, my energy, but still the things are not coming in front of me. Okay, this will be more evident because Mars will aspect directly onto your 3rd house of your efforts, your bravery, your actions. So at times you may feel that you are getting lost in many things. So one more practical remedy here is that choose your work one by one. Don't go for multitasking. This is not a time for multitasking. It is a time, choose one work, conquer it, get successful, get victorious, then choose the other one. This will not only improve your confidence, but also you will feel that yes, your time management, your punctuality and your discipline is also improving slowly. Okay, that will also be much more better, because don't forget Mars happens to be your 11th lord, retrograding in the 12th house. So suppose if you are associated with anything related to multinational companies, big organizations in some faraway lands, suppose if your company also belongs to some faraway lands, in that case also it is applicable. It will not only be helpful with your project members, with your team members and network circle, but also it will allow you to maintain a cordial relationship between them. Because since it is retrograding in the 12th house, it can lead to some kind of miscommunications between you and your co-workers or your team members. Why co-workers? Because it is also the lord of your sixth house for the Gemini people. Okay, so these are the reasons when you need to be very specific regarding how you are channelizing your energy, how you are selecting your work. Be very choosy during this particular time. Don't go for 5 works at the same time. It will give you really very good results, I'm saying you. One more thing, don't go for any kind of harsh communications or harsh conversations with the people of your daily contact, specifically your siblings, your neighbor, your friends, or anyone in and around you. Okay, during this particular time, try to avoid it. Try to avoid any kind of arguments or this kind of things. Suppose if you are already going through any health conditions, any health issues, this is a time when you need to be more careful regarding that. Why? Because Mars is the 6th lord, retrograding in the 12th house. So any prevailing health condition has to be taken care more nicely during this particular time. And one more thing, I will definitely add to it. Mars will aspect your 7th house also. Mars is the 6th lord, aspecting the 7th house. So this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding the health of your spouse, health of your partner, or how you are dealing with your partner during this particular time. If I talk about spouse, then I will say that this is the time when you need to be like any matter which you may feel that can lead to some kinds of arguments, try to sort it out. Try to come into any kind of compromise. Try to come into any kind of negotiation. that will not only be beneficial for you but also help you out maintain the relationship between you and your partner. Now suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership, in that way also it will help you out to run your partnership, run your organization or your that trade contract in a more cordial manner. Okay, try to come into any kind of negotiation or compromise, that will really help you out. Don't go into unnecessary arguments and clashes and fights. Okay, so that's it for the Gemini ascendant people, I will say. For the Cancer ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in your 11th house in the sign of Taurus. Mars happens to be your 10th lord, Mars happens to be your 5th lord. So it is a wonderful planet for you. It is a yoga karaka planet for the Cancer ascendant people, and it is retrograding in the 11th house. So this is a time for fulfillment of desire. This is a time for getting the results of your hard work. You will feel that all these days, specifically from last few months, when Mars first transited in your 10th house in the sign of Aries, then came to the sign of Taurus, it took some time to cover Taurus, then entered the sign of Gemini in the 12th house and again turned retrograde. Now it has entered the sign of Taurus again. So this is a time of fulfillment of desire. So that means if you are working on certain things and you are feeling that I'm not getting the result for it, this is a time to keep doing that work. Don't leave it now. It is a request, please don't leave it now out of frustration that see, I have tried so many things and still I have not got the results. What should I do? This is the time when you are going to get the results. So keep doing your hard work. You will see that your desires are getting fulfilled. You will be getting the benefits of your hard work. Only one thing, since it is retrograding in the 11th house, this is also a time you should not get into any kind of difference of opinions between you and your network circle or you and your project members. Definitely you will be getting some authoritative role, you will be getting that gains, your desires will be fulfilled, you will feel that yes, now I am getting the things. So at times it can make you very dominating, okay, in your life. It can just hit your ego, means you will feel that you are getting that ego boost, and out of that it can lead to some kinds of clashes or disputes. Okay, so try to avoid that. This is a time when you can work on your planning, you can work on your management, you can work on your best things of your life, like your creativity, your creative talents, the things which you are best at. You can work on those things because Mars will look onto your 5th house. Then you will feel that yes, slowly and gradually multiple things are happening. One more thing, Mars will also look onto your 6th house also by its 8th aspect. So suppose any matter related to health should not be ignored during this particular transit. Any matter related to health, it should be given equal importance, and I will say that you must go for extra health care also. Means I will say that take extra care of your health, because since it will be transiting in the 11th house in the retrograde motion, at times you will feel that you are getting that work pressure also. You will feel that some work related responsibilities also come on your shoulder. You will feel that yes, since you will get the success, so multiple works will also come. So in order to get more success, you need to also get that proper health. Okay, so if you are having any kind of prevailing health condition, you need to be very much careful regarding that also. Okay, for the Leo ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in your 10th house, and Mars rules over your 4th house and your 9th house. It is the Yoga Karaka planet for the Leo ascendant, Mars, and it is retrograding in the 10th house. Now, due to this retrogression in the 10th house, it can make you a bit more authoritative, dominant at your work environment, at your workplace. So certain job roles, certain your job profile which you are working on, you may get a bit more irritated regarding those things, and you may feel that you are not getting easily adjusted to those situations, and that can lead to some kind of clashes between you and your superiors or authorities. You may feel that your work ethics is coming in between the work provided by the work environment and you. You may feel that you want to do the work in one way, but they are expecting something else, and that can lead to this kind of clashes and confusion. I will just say here one thing, that try to avoid this kind of classes. Another thing is that Mars rules over your 9th house, retrograding in the 10th house. That means this is also a time that through your efforts and hard work, you can chase your dreams, you can get your targets fulfilled. So this is not a time to get into any kind of classes between you and your superiors. Okay, rather on I will say that you can work on your skill set, because Mars will look onto your 5th house also by its 8th aspect. Although since it is the ruler of your 9th house, so your belief system, your work ethics, that will come in between you and your work environment. Certain things you will feel that you are not getting along, certain things you will feel that you are not getting that much easy, you will feel sometimes very uneasy to work on those things. But this is not a right time to take any hasty decisions regarding your work and work like opportunities. Okay, so I will just say that just do the hard work and chase your dreams, that will give you much more better results. Mars will be looking onto your 4th house. This is important. More you try to balance your work life and your domestic life, this transit of Mars will give you much more better results. Because if you get more anxious and stress due to the work at your professional area, that will impact your family happiness also, because Mars will aspect your 1st house also by its 4th aspect. 1st house means your overall your head, this brain is the 1st house. Okay, so at times it can make you anxious, at times it can make you very much stressful, so you have to balance those things also. Now you can take it as some extra energy, you can feel that yes, I am getting some extra energy, I can do some creative work, I can do some productive work, or you can get into that stress and anxiety, and that can ultimately disturb the family life and happiness. Okay, so in that case you need to be very careful, because don't forget Mars happens to be a beautiful planet for the Leo ascendant people. It is only a matter of fact that how we channelize the energy. Should we waste time in some petty matters at workplace and disturb our happiness, or just we do our work, try to ignore it and be happy in our life? Okay, because Mars happens to be the lord of your 4th house also. Take care regarding the health of your mother during this particular time. Okay, and work on your creative intelligence, your creative talent and your skill set, that will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 9th house in the retrograde motion in the sign of Taurus. Mars rules over your 8th house, Mars rules over your 3rd house. This is most important thing here. I will say that take care regarding the health of your parents during this particular time, because retrogression is happening in your 9th house. 9th house deals with father. Mars will directly look onto your 4th house also by its 8th aspect. 4th house is mother. Okay, for the Virgo ascendant people I'm talking about. So this is the time when you need to take care regarding the health of your parents more essentially. Now let us talk about this transit in the 9th house. This is a time when you may get into some kind of classes with your father or with your guru or with anyone whom you feel that this is the person who is the source of inspiration for me, or anyone whom you feel that he is like my guru or he is like my father figure. Okay, so it can be any elder from your family, it can be your father, it can be your guru, it can be any person who is a source of inspiration for you, or anyone father figure to you. try to avoid any kind of arguments or difference of opinions or clashes or fights with these people. This is the most important thing I will say, because this Mars retrogression can at times bring some kinds of confusions and questions within yourself regarding your belief system, regarding your value system, and that can lead to some kinds of arguments between you and your father, or anyone, any elder in your family also, that can be in as a matter of fact. So this is the time when you can follow the proper discipline, we can follow proper dharma and righteousness in our efforts, in our actions. That will not only be giving you that divine protection and blessing, because divinity is also the 9th house, but also it will help you have a settle down a proper relationship, a proper communication between you and your father. Okay, during this particular time some travels can be seen, because Mars is retrograding in the 9th house, aspecting the 3rd house, and Mars happens to be your 8th lord. So sudden travels, some sudden travels can be seen during this particular time. I will say that regarding any dilemma in your life, regarding any confusion, do not forget to consult your father or guru. Even if certain things you may feel that it is getting clashed with your belief system, but still I will say that do not hesitate to discuss with your father or guru. They will really help you out. Their words of wisdom, initially you may feel that you are not getting along with it, but it will really help you out. That will be a really good thing for you. Another thing is that this Mars is retrograding. It is the 3rd lord, aspecting the 3rd house. So anything related to your hobbies, anything related to your creative talent, which you might have had not given importance in your past, all of a sudden you may start getting interest in those things. All of a sudden you may feel that yes, now I can give it a try again. So anything related to your efforts, anything related to your creative skills, or anything, your talent, your hobbies, or any project which you might have had left in the past, all of a sudden you may get the interest to start it again. So in that way you can channelize your energy in a more better manner. And Mars will be aspecting your 4th house. So this is also a time when you need to maintain proper peace and happiness at your domestic area. Your mental peace, mental security will be very much essential during this particular time. You have to have a proper balance regarding that, specifically with the people with whom you are living at your home. Okay, so these are the important things. One more thing for the Virgo ascendant people, I will say that Mars will be aspecting your 12th house from the 9th house. So this is also a time when you need to be very careful regarding your expenditures and losses. Don't go for any wasteful expenditures as of now. So anything which can lead to some wastage of money or wastage of wealth, so those things also you need to be very careful. Since Mars will be aspecting your 12th house, so this is also a time when you may get at times a bit more restless, so sleeping schedule can be impacted. So okay, you can take out some time for yourself, and that will be a source of rest for you, that will be a source of rejuvenation for you. So solitude and isolation can prove to be best during this particular time. Some spiritual activities, some religious activities during this particular time will really give you much more better results. Okay, so that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. For the Libra ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in your 8th house, and Mars happens to be your 2nd lord and your 7th lord, and it is retrograding in the sign of Taurus in the 8th house. So this particular transit of Mars for the Libra people has to be taken very carefully, I will say, because normally the transit of Mars in the 8th house should be taken very carefully, but it is retrograding in the 8th house. So this is a time when some kind of restlessness can be there within you. Now that can be related to your wealth, that can be related to your family matters, that can be related to your relationship matters. Okay, regarding all these things, you will find some kind of unpredictability, some kind of uncertainties. Some sudden events may all of a sudden come up in front of you during this particular retrogression of Mars in the 8th house. So this is a time when you need to work on your insecurities, your fears and your vulnerabilities with respect to your relationship, with respect to your financial management, and with respect to your family matters and family members. So this is a time when step by step you have to give priorities on these particular things: your wealth, family matters, your family values and morals, your relationships, in a proper manner with proper priorities. Another thing is that this Mars, since it is transiting in the 8th house, I will say that you need to be very careful regarding your health. Don't do anything which is uncertain. Don't do anything which relates to unpredictable events or outcomes, because 8th house also deals with injuries, accidents, uncertainties, okay, transformation. So this is a time when you need to just put your efforts and actions in a proper manner. This Mars will look directly onto your 3rd house of your efforts, actions, bravery, short travels. From where? From the 8th house in the retrograde motion. So at times it can make you too much adventurous. It is just like that the curiosity will be at that par level. You will feel that let me explore it, let me do that. What will happen? So this kind of feelings may come within you. So you need to have a proper check on this kind of feelings, because that can lead to some kind of uncertain outcomes. Okay, so you need to have a proper wisdom working on it. That will give you much more better results, because during this particular time discipline is the essential part, because you undertake some step and that can lead to some kind of uncertain outcomes. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding these things. Another thing is that Mars is your 7th lord, transiting in the retrograde motion in the 8th house. Now this has got two ways results. One way is that you need to be very careful regarding the health of your spouse, or suppose if you are in any kind of business partnership between you and your partner, then your partnership, you need to be very careful regarding that partnership also during this particular time. On the other hand, since your 7th lord is retrograding in the 8th house, you will find that certain matters related to your relationship or certain matter related to your partnership, you will find some kind of great deal of cooperation from your partner in those matters, because 8th house is also the house of Mangalya, longevity of marriage, married life, means the life after the relationship starts. Okay, so you will find cooperation from your a passionate cooperation from your partner. So this is a time to take care regarding your partner, regarding his or her health, regarding your relationship. That will give you much more better results. Mars will look onto your 2nd house. It will give you a very authoritative speech during this particular time. At times it can make you blunt, means you will feel that my thoughts are just waiting to come up. Okay, so at times you will just aggressively and impulsively just express your thoughts that can be blunt sometimes, and the listener may feel hurt or sad. Okay, so you need to be very careful regarding your speech, because later on you may feel that you should have had controlled it, but by that time you have already said it. Okay, and you need to be very careful regarding your expenditures also, because Mars happens to be your 2nd lord, transiting in the 8th house. So all of a sudden some decisions regarding your wealth, your investments has to be taken care of. Don't go for unnecessary investments, or don't go for unnecessary expenditures which are actually not required. Even if you are thinking of any kind of investments, then I will say that try to avoid or postpone it during this retrogression of Mars in the 8th house. Okay, that will give you much more better results. And how you are dealing with your in-laws, or how you are dealing with your family members during this particular time will be very essential during this particular time. Okay, so take care regarding those things. That will give you much more better results. So that's it for the Libra ascendant people. For the Scorpio ascendant people, Mars is the Lagna Lord itself. Mars is the 6th Lord also. It is retrograding in the 7th house. So it has got some implications, like since Mars is the 1st Lord transiting in the retrograde motion in the 7th house, so you will take some active participation in your relationships. This is the first thing. You will take some active dominant role in your business partnerships. Like if you are in some kind of business partnership or some trade contracts, you will try to take some dominant role over there. Or suppose if you are in a marriage life, you are in a relationship, in that way also you will try to have some active participation in those things. Now since it is the planet Mars under consideration, and Mars is the Lagna Lord retrograding in the 7th house, so it is just like here this Mars does not like negotiations. So at times you may feel either it's my way or highway. You may feel that I want the things in this order. If I'm not getting it, okay, so that can lead to some kind of clashes or difference of opinions. Because don't forget, 7th house is the house of diplomacy. 7th house is the house of negotiation. 7th house is the house of common opinions, public image. Don't forget that. 7th house is also the house of coming into a common opinion. That is the reason in a legal binding, marriage itself is a legal binding. Legal binding is also seen from the 7th house. So even if certain things you may feel that is not going on your way, you can come into a common point, you can come onto a common opinion that will not only be good for you but also for your partner, and also it will save you from any kind of unnecessary disputes. Okay, see, active participation is good, but active participation leading to some kind of disturbances, that is not good. Why it is important? Because you see the energies are just like that. Mars is rules over the fire element, Agni Tattva, looking onto your 1st house as the 1st Lord. It is the 1st Lord looking onto your 1st house, looking onto your 2nd house by its 8th aspect. So obviously it will make your speech a bit more aggressive. It will give you that fiery energy. So if the things are not going in your way, you will definitely shout. You will definitely express your thoughts in that aggressive mode. You will feel that, oh, I am doing it very normal. But the listener, that person may get hurt. That person may get sad. Okay. So you have to be very careful regarding that. And another energy, we will say that Mars is the 6th Lord. 6th Lord retrograding the 7th houses, that is a thing where I will say that this can lead to some kind of differences or disputes between you and your partner, especially marriage partner, I will say. Or suppose if you are going for any kind of legal document signing or legal bindings, this is a time when you should be very careful regarding any kinds of new contract or legal bindings. Try to avoid it, I will say. Don't go for any kind of legal binding or legal contracts as of now. If until and unless unavoidable, that's a different thing. But in that case also be very careful and then go for it. Otherwise try to avoid it. Okay, so take care regarding the health of your spouse. That will give you much more better results. And take care regarding your own health also, because Mars will be looking onto your 1st house and 2nd house. Okay, your food eating habits has to be taken care of during this particular time. Okay, so that's it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, Mars happens to be your 5th Lord and your 12th Lord. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, Mars rules over your 5th house of creativity and your 12th house of isolation, solitude and subconscious mind, spirituality. That Mars is retrograding in your 6th house. Now here you need to be very careful regarding your health. This is the first thing I will say, because Mars rules over your 12th house, retrograding in the 6th house. Any prevailing health conditions which you might have had, you need to be very careful regarding that. Or suppose if you already have any kind of health issues, be very careful regarding that. This is not a time to ignore it. Okay, take care regarding that. At times you may feel a bit more lethargic. At times you may feel that you are getting a bit exhausted due to the work pressure, because 12th lord retrograding in the 6th house. Okay, so your hard work, your struggles, you may feel that I am getting overloaded with my work. So that will not only impact you physically on your health, but also it will impact on your subconscious mind. So this is a time to take care regarding your health at the topmost level. This is the topmost priority, I will say. So in that case, you can take out some time for your meditation, for your yoga or physical exercises, or have some healthy living, healthy eating. That will give you much more better results. Because why I say healthy eating? Mars rules over your 5th house. Okay, since it rules over your 5th house is the stomach area. Okay, and it is retrograding in the 6th house. So healthy living, healthy eating is very essential during this particular time period. Okay, now since it is retrograding in the 6th house, it is also a time, if you are associated with any kind of service, if you are associated with any kind of job, then you need to follow proper instructions from your superiors and authorities and follow it in proper order. This is the essential thing. Secondly, you should not go into any kind of unnecessary clashes or disputes with your co-workers, and try to avoid any kind of disputes or difference of opinions overall, because it is the 6th house in concern. Mars will be looking onto your 9th house by its 4th aspect. So some kind of travels can be seen, since it is aspecting the 9th house by its 4th aspect. So some travels can be seen during this particular time. Only you need to be very careful that while you are going for the travel, it should not impact your health a lot. Okay, so plan it accordingly. That way I will say. Mars will be looking onto your 1st house also by its 8th aspect. So at times it can make you a bit more stressed and anxious. It will give you the energy, it will definitely give you the energy, but how you channelize the energy, that will give you the results. If you channelize the energy in a more productive manner, then this energy, the aspect of Mars on the 1st house, will improve your confidence. But if you are not channelizing the energy in a proper manner, that can lead to some kinds of confusion, or it can make you a bit more stressful. Now, since Mars is also the ruler of the 5th house, transiting in the 6th house in the retrograde motion, that means your creative intelligence, this is the time to use your creative intelligence in your hard work. This is the time to use your smart work in your daily life. That will give you much more better results. Okay, so this is what for the Sagittarius ascendant people, make the most out of it. Okay, so now let us talk about the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in your 5th house, and Mars rules over your 4th house. Mars rules over your 11th house. Okay, so this retrogression of Mars in the 5th house, at times you may feel that whatever you are planning for yourself, whatever you are or whatever the things which motivate you in your daily life in order to make something correct, you may feel the plannings are getting delayed, or you are not getting the results, expected results which you expect with respect to your work or with respect to your planning and your daily schedule. Okay, you may feel that the things are getting delayed or the things are getting repeated. So at times it may happen that you start learning something, you stop it, again you start again something else. This kind of things can happen during this particular transit of Mars in the retrograde motion in the 5th house. Now one more thing I will say, since it is the 4th lord retrograding in the 5th house, So you will get some kind of inspiration regarding your creative skill set, like some new thing all of a sudden can start. Like suppose the things which you are doing already, you may get a bit disinterested in that. Something new can catch your eyes, and you may feel that yes, this thing I can work upon, and that will be a source of happiness for you. Like suppose I can give you an example, like since it is the planet Mars under the consideration, so let us take example of sports. Like someone will be better in some sports, okay, or some games and sports. You may all of a sudden get disinterested in that and start something else in other kind of sports. Okay, so this kind of things can happen. Another thing is that during this transit of Mars in the 5th house, since Mars is also the 11th lord, retrograding in the 5th house, this is a time when more you work on your skill set and creative talents, more you will get better results in the upcoming days. Or any project or any work which you left behind in the past, you can restart it. You will feel that yes, I can work on it again. Okay, so that will give you much more better results. Mars will be looking on to your 12th house and 8th house respectively, and it is transiting in the 5th house in the retrograde motion. 5th house also deals with our joy and pleasure, and since it is Mars, the Martian energy, so at times you may feel that let me try this, let me do that. Okay, so discipline is very essential during this particular time. Don't get over excited and don't get into more like into adventurous zone of mind, because don't forget Mars will be aspecting your 12th house and 8th house. Uncertainties will be there. Okay, so don't get too much adventurous. Too much curiosity can lead to some kind of uncertainties. Okay, so it has to be taken care of in that way. In a good manner, I will say that this is a time of spiritual learning. You can get into some kinds of occult studies, you can get into some kinds of religious studies, some spiritual studies, you can get connected with some spiritual communities. Okay, some spiritual visits can be there. That will give you much more better results. You will feel that yes, now I am getting something to get aligned with. Okay, and since Mars is the 4th lord, you will also get the inspiration or the motivation, I will say, from your mother also. So make the most out of it. Okay, so that's it for the Capricorn ascendant people. For the Aquarius ascendant people, this transit of Mars is happening in your 4th house. Mars happens to be your 3rd lord. Mars happens to be your 10th lord. It is retrograding in the 4th house. So since it is planet Mars retrograding in the 4th house, I will say this is a time when you need to be very careful regarding your family happiness. Certain matters will be there in front of you where you will be a bit more anxious. It can lead to some kind of angry disposition. You may feel that the things are not getting correct at home. So domestic happiness will be primary priority for you. Okay, this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding the health of your mother also. Take care regarding the health of your mother. Take care regarding any matter, howsoever small it is, regarding your home. Try to channelize your energy in a more creative manner, because 3rd house rules with creative talent and Mars is your 3rd lord retrograding in your 4th house. So more you channelize your energy in some creative talents, in your creative hobbies or something, that will give peace of mind and happiness for you. Okay, try to involve yourself in and cooperate. Involve and cooperate yourself in some household activities. Okay, that will not only bring some cordial relationship between you and your family members or the people living in your house with you, but also channelize your energy in a proper manner. Do some yoga, meditation, physical exercises that will channelize your energy. Okay, involve yourself in some kind of work. This Mars will look onto your 7th house also by its 4th aspect. It means more you are channelizing your energy in some productive and creative means, that will bring more happiness in your domestic life and your married life also. Otherwise, what will happen, this 4th aspect of Mars in your 7th house can at times make you more possessive regarding your relationship matters, related to your partnership matters or marital matters. So that can lead to some unnecessary disturbances, disputes or clashes, some fights, unnecessary. Okay, so more you become more productive, creative, that will not only avoid this kind of situations but also bring the happiness. Okay, and try to avoid any kind of unnecessary disputes or arguments. Try to avoid it. Okay, because things are as such that means you may get irritated on small things, and that can lead to anger, and ultimately it can lead to fights and something. Try to avoid it. Mars will look onto your 10th house and 11th house by its 7th and 8th aspect respectively for the Aquarius ascendant people. So that means some work-wise responsibility will come all of a sudden in front of you, where you need to put your efforts more. Okay, and you need to work on it. And this is a time when you should not go into any kind of unnecessary disputes with your superiors or co-workers at your house, at your office. Means at your office or at your work environment. Means chances are there that due to this particular retrogression of Mars in your 4th house aspecting your 10th house, certain matters at your work environment you may not like it, and that can lead to some kinds of unnecessary stress or arguments with your co-workers or with your superiors. Okay, difference of opinions basically I will say at your work environment or your office. Okay, try to avoid it and just follow your work, just do your hard work. Since Mars will be looking onto your 11th house also, this Mars will allow you to work on your gains, fulfillment of desires. You will definitely work on it, and you will be able to work on it through your creative skills, your communicative skills. Okay, but try to avoid any kind of disputes or arguments or ego clashes between you and your network circle, between you and your project members. Okay, that is very important. Although this Mars will allow you to give you more energy regarding your goals, your desires, your fulfillment of wishes and everything, but at the same time try to avoid any kind of clashes between you and your friend circle, your network circle, or where you are working, specifically with respect to some big organizations, big companies. Okay, if you are associated with that, so try to maintain this thing. That is for the Aquarius ascendant people. For the Pisces ascendant people, Mars will be retrograding in the 3rd house, and for the Pisces ascendant people, Mars rules over your 2nd house and your 9th house. It is retrograding in the 3rd house. So first of all, this is a good time to work on your hobbies, work on your creative talents which you might have had ignored in the past. Like suppose you might have had started something, you left it in middle. So this is the right time to work on those things in a much more clear manner, in a much more clarity. You will feel that yes, now I am getting that inspiration, I am getting that energy, I can work on it. In that way you will get very good results. This Mars is also your 2nd lord and your 9th lord. So that means you may also get some words of wisdom or some cooperation, some help from your father, from your guru, or from your elders of your family in your hobbies, in your creative talents. That will not only be helpful to you in your future prospects, but also it will be a source of inspiration for you, that you will feel that yes, someone is there to inspire me in my work. So you will feel that although things are getting a bit like, since it is retrograde, so you will start something, you may all of a sudden you may feel a bit lazy, you may feel that okay, let me do it after some day. So this kind of laziness can be there. Okay, But don't worry, your family members, your father, your guru, those people are there whose words of inspiration will inspire you and again bring you back onto track, and you will feel that yes, again I can start it again. So this kind of good things can be expected for the Pisces ascendant people. Now, since third house is also the house of communication, people of daily contact, this retrogression of Mars happens to be your second lord of speech also for the Pisces ascendant people. So this is the time when you need to be very careful regarding your speech and your communication. It can be at times a bit more rude. Okay, so don't go into any kind of arguments, don't go into any kind of unnecessary disputes that can lead to some unnecessary arguments. Okay, so work on your communication skills. Don't get too much aggressive while you are communicating with other people. Okay, that will give you a much more better results. And your efforts, your actions should be well judged, well balanced. Don't get over exhausted or over tired. Take some time for yourself also. Why I say this? Because this Mars will look onto your 6th house by its 4th aspect. So at times, if you are not taking out time for yourself, you may feel that I am getting overburdened with my work. Okay, so this is also a time when you need to take care regarding your health also. In case of any prevailing health condition, you need to be very careful regarding those things. That will not only give you good results with respect to your work, but also it will give you energy for continuing your projects, continuing your hobby and creative talents. Any kind of new projects or not new projects, I will say, means any kind of projects which you restarted again. Okay, so regarding those things, I will say you that it will give you good results if you take care regarding your health. Now, since it is retrograding in the 3rd house, I will say that this is a time to work on your talents and hobbies. I will say that as of now, don't start any new project. Any new project should be avoided as of now. Okay, if you are already working on something and you left it back, those things you can work on and you can get success through it. Okay, some travels can be seen, some short travels can be seen, some religious discourses is also seen during this particular time. And these efforts which you are putting out now on your hobbies, your talents, that will give you good results in your work arena also, because this Mars will look onto your 10th house. Okay, so make the most out of it. That will give you much more better results. And this is also a time, try to follow the instruction given to you by your father and guru. Trust me, that will be very much beneficial to you. And don't go into any kind of arguments with your elders or with your siblings, friends, or anyone in your neighborhood. Okay, make the most out of it. That will give you much more better results. So that's it for now, and I hope you have liked this video for all the 12 ascendant signs. And if you have really liked this video, press the like button, share it to your near and dear ones. And if you are new to this channel, tap onto the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon, so that every time I make a new video, you get notified instantly. And next time when I come back, I will be coming back with some another interesting video. So till then, I am signing off for today. Thanking you. Bye bye.